In this video, I'm going to show you Blender 3D's ability to split and join windows. So there's a window up here, it's this top little strip toolbar. There's a window down here, this is the timeline, and there's actually two windows over here. This is the properties window, and up top here is the outliner. So windows can be resized by putting your mouse pointer on the black divider line. So you'll see that I can put my mouse pointer on the divider line. This cursor becomes a double arrow, and I can left click and I can change the width. Generally you don't want anything crazy like that, but you want it just nice and wide enough that you can see all the text and you can see all the buttons. You can also put your mouse pointer on the horizontal divider line. Your mouse pointer changes to the double arrows again, and you can left click and you can drag up and down. You'll see that the top window, you can do the same thing, although you don't really need to do that with that top window there. And this toolbar over here on the left-hand side, of course, you can change the width as well. So oftentimes what you want to do is you want to see your work from different angles, from different viewpoints. So typically I'll take this main 3D view workspace and I'll split this up into two, maybe three, maybe even four windows, just so I can really see my work. So I've got the monkey head in perspective view, and to split the window I'm going to simply come up here to the top right hand corner, and you'll see these little diagonal lines in the top right hand corner. And when I put my mouse pointer over those diagonal lines, my cursor becomes a little cross. So when I see the cross, I'm going to left click, and if I left click and drag to the left, I'll make a vertical split. So you can see the vertical split going up and down, and I've got now two different vertical windows. And the great thing about this is that even though they're the same, I'm going to put my mouse pointer in the right window and I'll press numpad 7. So now I get to see my monkey head from both the top view and the perspective view at the same time. Notice that I can zoom in on one view and I can orbit it around, and it's independent from the top view. But if I change anything in this view, for instance, if I scale the monkey head up and down, you'll see that it does change in both views. If I rotate it, you'll see that it does move in both views. So it's really nice and helpful. I can now come over here to the right window and I can press numpad 1 or numpad 3, and I can basically see two views at once, which is really nice. Now, if I want to join these two windows back together, all I do is I put my mouse pointer back up on those little diagonal lines in the top right hand corner. I left click and hold, and I drag to the right. When you drag to the right, you'll immediately see this large arrow, and then you can go ahead and let go, and they will join together in that direction. So once again, mouse pointer on those diagonal lines, left click and hold. If you drag to the left, you will do a vertical split. If you left click and hold and drag to the right, you will join. If you go to those lines and you left click and hold, and this time instead of dragging to the left, if you drag downwards, you'll go ahead and you'll do a horizontal split, which can be quite helpful as well. There's really no difference. You still end up with two windows. It's all just personal preference, whether you want a horizontal split or you want a vertical split. And of course I can go ahead and make as many splits as I want. I can, if I want to split this window here, I can go to those diagonal lines, left click and hold, drag to the left, and now I've got two vertical windows here in this horizontal window. So it can get pretty complicated very quickly. Now you'll see that each one of these windows has this big old toolbar here on the left hand side. That toolbar, you can hide that or show it by pressing the letter T, 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 and you'll see that I can make it come back by doing that. So to finish up, you can definitely make an unlimited number of windows, and they can be a combination of horizontal and vertical splits. That's fine. So why do we do this? We can definitely see different angles. So for instance, up here in my bigger window, I can have a nice perspective view of the monkey. down here in the bottom left, I could have a nice front view, and over here I could have a side view or a top view, and that could be really productive for me as well. Again, you don't want to do something that's overwhelming. You don't want to overwhelm your eyes or your brain, so just be mindful of that. The other benefit really in Blender for changing your windows is that you can change the window type. So as you get more advanced in Blender, this will make a lot more sense. But in the bottom left-hand corner of every Blender window, you will see a little pop-up button that shows an icon with a double arrow. So here it is here, and here it is down here. So it's in the bottom left-hand corner of every window. And basically what happens is that you can click on it, you can choose any of these choices here. And as you get more experience with Blender, you'll know which ones you need and why you need them. So for instance, if I wanted to change this window into something called the UV image editor, I click on that, and now you'll see I've just got another window here, and I can do something else with this here. And again, I can change this one here to something else. I can change it to something called the logic editor, and I can do that. And I can change it back to the 3D view, and there's my 3D view. And I can go back to another 3D view, and there we go. So again, that's pretty much it. I'll go ahead and wrap this up by joining them back together. So it's left click and hold, drag to the right, and they join. Left click and hold. Now I can't drag to the right because there's nothing to join to the right, but if I drag up, I can join it up. And then there we go. I can go ahead and do that. So I hope this works out well for you, and happy blending.